Hello and welcome to another one of those videos where I have a talk about all the things coming out of Tinto Talks. This time we're going to be looking at culture, artwork, prestige, and, well, it looks like we're joining the culture war. Let's move on, let's get into it, let's see what we have coming to us. Hello everyone, welcome to another Tinto Talks. This is the Happy Wednesday, the day of the week where we tell you information about our super secret game with the code name Project Caesar. This week we'll talk about art and culture, not why it's important to the world, but the impact it has in our game. To begin with, every culture in Project Caesar has two important attributes: cultural influence and cultural tradition. So, what do we have with cultural influence? It's the attack power of a culture in the context of culture war. Right? I told you we're joining the culture war. Representing how impressive it appears to other cultures and the reach it has beyond its own borders. It has a monthly increase depending on prestige, some cultural buildings, and also increases upon the completion of a work of art. And we'll see what those are in just a moment. So, English cultural influence right here starts at 0. And what I'm kind of thinking here is, history didn't start in the year 1337. So, hopefully, some cultures will start with an amount. If this changes by plus 2.1 a month, what happened in the month before the game starts? Was it at minus 2.10? I don't know. Well, I would like to see some cultures start with higher and lower, and not everyone starting at the base level. But whatever. It changes by plus 2.10 because of England, the Pale, and Wales. I guess those are three English culture nations. I know for Wales, we knew this from the Tinto Maps post on England. It's culturally English because the people ruling it are English. Obviously, the pops are still going to be Welsh. It's just the people in power are English. Cultural traditions. It's the defense power of a culture in the context of a culture war, representing how strongly this culture's traditions resonate with its people. Tradition has a monthly change depending on relevant buildings, but also the amount of art you have in your country. The average literacy of your nobles also has a significant impact on your cultural tradition as well. So, the cultural tradition of the English culture is at 14. I don't know if this is the very start of the game. We'll see. And, again, England giving some, Pale giving some, Wales giving some, and it decays by 0.7 every month. Okay. And it's impacted by works of art from locations. Traditionalist societal value makes it go up. Outward societal value makes it go down. Nested tooltips as well, so we can hover over things to get new tooltips open. As you may see in the screenshot above, the primary culture of the country is the one benefiting from your art and nobles. Fair enough. We have the St. Augustine Gospels here. I wonder if these are things that are in England itself. Who knows? And this is the St. Augustine Gospels, illuminated gospel book, which dates from the 6th century and since 1575 it's been in Cambridge, but it's been in England in other places since pretty soon after its creation. So, yeah, this is one of the works of art. These are things that actually exist in the world. So that's kind of cool. I wonder how many real-world works of art there are versus how many inventions of the game, let's say, are going to be in the game. Be interesting to know, right? So we have the St. Augustine Gospels. As you see in the screenshot above, it's the one benefiting your culture. Nice. So, the culture war, how does this work? What is cultural influence and cultural tradition impacting then? Well, we have this concept called the culture war, which impacts several aspects of the game. For the part where culture is relevant, the cultural influence of the attacking culture is compared against the cultural tradition of the defending culture. If it's positive, you get bonuses. If it's negative, you'll face penalties. There are plenty of diplomatic actions where having a dominant culture is a benefit for the other country to accept your deals, not to mention the fact that building a spy network is far easier if you have cultural dominance. Okay. Also has an impact if you have conquered some land and want to integrate it. As your cultural influence is bigger than their traditions, you'll integrate the territory faster. It's also valid if you want to annex a subject. Alright, so faster to integrate in territories and annex people if you have high cultural influence. Good to know. It is an important number. It's not just window dressing. You also assimilate people faster if you have a high cultural influence than the pop's cultural traditions. There's also a small impact on sieges as well. Interesting, okay. So, how do we invest in our culture then? One of the most important advances in the Age of Renaissance is the patron of the arts. Plus 15 prestige, minus 5% taxes, and plus 0.5 yearly prestige. Every time. It's a burger invention. No, this is EU4, of course. But yeah, no, that's it's cool that these various things that we know from EU4 are making it back, but in a completely different way. There's a whole ass mechanic for what is essentially an estate privilege in EU4. Love that. This one is early in the part of the tree that requires the Renaissance institution, and it allows you to invest into culture. The cost of this depends on the size of the economy and how many artists you wish to employ. So, invest in culture is possible amount of artists plus one, and isn't that like the Michelangelo Gaggi? I feel like that is that statue, whatever. How can you be a Renaissance man without sponsoring? That's true. It's actually factual, right? There's a direct impact from the investment you make each month on your prestige, as well as the impact of the skill of the artist and the art they create. There are some countries outside of Europe that already start with advances that unlock investing into culture. So, artistes. These are characters that appear in countries that are investing into culture. They'll spend their time creating new art or figuring out what they should create. They'll also increase their skill over time, depending on how much money you will throw at them. If you get frustrated with them not producing new art, you can always commission art directly by throwing even more money at them. Various buildings and advances can impact the skill floor and skill ceiling of a new artist as well. And one artist that exists at the start of the game is Simone Martini. He is an artist in the Papal States. He has 85 art skill. One, I don't know, he's good with color. Not very good with black and white. I don't know. I don't know what these ones mean. But yeah, this is a guy that also legitimately existed, and he made this. This is the Madonna and Child. Again, a real thing that exists in the world right now. So this is one of his pieces of art that I wanted to look up and show to you. So that's what this guy made. I'm not sure he had that interesting haircut, but, you know, who knows. And his works of art, St. Louis of Toulouse crowning his brother Robert of Anjou. So, at the start of the game, this art is in the game, I guess. And so I don't think we're going to get pictures of the art, but this is the art that is referenced right here. Then again, this is something you can hover over, and this it's underlined. Surely this is a tooltip. Is it going to be possible for us to get some kind of, I don't know, some kind of thing to this? Because I do know in CK2, I think CK3 has it as well, I'm not sure though, you were able to basically, if a character was historical, you could open like a wiki page of them, if I remember rightly, something along those lines. And I don't know, I feel like with these works of art, it could be a teaching moment, right? It could be, you know, I've got Simone Martini, what is the historicity around him, and oh, he made this, and it's in my, you know, it's in Avignon right now, so let's have a look and see what that is. Like, something that could be really cool. It could be really, really cool. If you have less than double the number of supported artists in your country, you can always poach an artist from a smaller and less rich country. That artist will then move to your country, and all the art they create will benefit you. However, the influence of the culture of the country you invited him from will increase. There are several different types of artists, and they create different types of art. We have a painter, sculptor, composer, writer, architect, philosopher, jurist, scientist, iconographer for certain religions, and metalsmith if you have metallurgy. That's cool. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Ara, History Untold, where you're creating works of art to win the game, I guess, because it increases your prestige. But yeah, no, that's cool. So, works of art. It's something that an artist has created. When the art is created, it will directly increase the cultural influence of the primary culture of the country that the artist is working in. Not all artists will necessarily live in a capital or create their art there either. And I guess, okay, so we got this St. Louis of Toulouse crowning his brother. This is obviously a tooltip, and if, for example, this tooltip was opened, it would open something along these lines. This is Llewellyn's coronet. Look, there's far too many L's. in Welsh. I apologize. I'm gonna get it wrong. So Llewellyn's coronet. It's a work of art. It's got average quality. It's regalia. It's a crown. It was created in 1200. Its origin is in Anglesey. Its owner is in England, and it's currently in Westminster. It is known as the Taleaeth Llewellyn in Welsh. It's a symbol of princely sovereignty in Wales. The last native prince of Wales, Llewellyn ap Gruffydd, I pronounced that horribly. I apologise to my one Welsh viewer, entrusted the coronet to the monks of Keimer Abbey for safekeeping before he was defeated by Edward of England. The king seized the coronet and brought it to London, where it's presented at Westminster Abbey as a symbol of the subjugation of Wales. And some, like I said, some art is present at the start of the game. So, Llewellyn's coronet is this thing up here. This is the arms of Wales, and this was drawn when the coronet was existing. So this right here, just the bit at the top, is what it would have looked like, which I think is kind of cool. We have your crown. Well, not anymore. It was potentially destroyed during the short reign of Oliver Cromwell. At least it went missing around that time, and we have not found it yet. So the Welsh, I guess, are not subjugated anymore since then. But anyway, that's Llewellyn's coronet. When a location is conquered through siege or normal occupation, there's a chance for works of art to be looted or destroyed. If it's looted, it'll be transferred to your capital, so you can create a nice museum a few centuries later. Having some art in your country has some benefits, increasing your prestige and traditions. So, works of art in Venice. We have a bunch in Venice because 1204 happened. Worst day of my life. So we have St. Mark's Basilica, just the whole ass building, just the whole. I mean, yeah, I guess that's fair. That is a pretty nice big work of art right there. So St. Mark's Basilica is magnum opus tier. We have the horses of St. Mark, which of course were stolen during 1204, and the sack of Constantinople, and I believe these horses are replicas of the 4 original bronze horses, which were made in around 500 BC, in ancient Greece. And I'm pretty sure these are replicas that are currently adorning the outside, and the actual horses are inside and safe. Their heads were cut off during the shipping of them from Constantinople to Venice, and that's why these collars were added much later to, let's say, hide the seams. But yeah, 1204, second worst day of my life after 1453. We have the Bucentaur in Venice, and that is the ceremonial canal barge of the Doges of Venice. And yeah, nope, that's a work of art. That is quite literally a work of art. That makes sense. That's fair. And then finally, we have the 2 icons of the Archangel Michael, and I'm not sure which specific thing this is referencing. But this is one of the icons of Michael that I could find, and very important in Orthodox religion, of course. But yeah, that's what that is. And maybe if you know of the specific one that this might be referencing, let me know. I'd be curious to see. But the level of art has the following effects: monthly progress to innovative, which we don't know what that means. I believe this is like Golden Era, is what my. Not something that I believe as in I have any evidence for, but it's something I believe as in that would make sense to me, right? If we tick up to 100, then we're in a golden era of culture and art and such. And then, yeah, I do think that's what this is. But let me know if you have any other theories. There's also a direct benefit to all locations that have works of art as well, depending on how much of the art you have, as it provides some good benefits. So, Westminster has 3 works of art. It's giving some cultural tradition, and pop promotion, conversion, and assimilation speed, and some institution growth. I'm actually fine with this. I don't think this is gamey. I think this is actually totally fine. Having a bunch of works of art in your country, making people want to be of your culture, religion, such. Yeah, that's fine. So in Westminster, of course, we have Llewellyn's coronet. We have the Stone of Destiny, the Stone of Scona, or Scone or Skane. I actually don't know how you pronounce it. But if you had watched the recent coronation of King Charles, you will have seen this stone and people laughing at the existence of it. Basically, it's a stone where the Scottish kings used to be coronated upon. And when, the crowns of England and Scotland were united, the stone was transported to England, and then all of the British monarchs were crowned upon it. So, yeah, that's the Stone of Scone. And then the Cross of Neath was taken at the same time as Llewellyn's coronet, and I believe that is this here. It is apparently a piece of the true cross of Jesus Christ, if one of those existed. And it's kept at Abercrombie, and yeah, I think it was nabbed by, or it was in 1352. Holy balls! It was given to King Edward, given by King Edward to the Dean of St George's Chapel in Windsor. But when did it come? It was ready for English expropriation. Yes, that's British Museum has a lot of experience with English expropriation, alongside other spiritual and temporal artifacts like Llewellyn's coronet. So yeah, I guess we got it at the same time as the coronet, and it's another thing that just doesn't exist anymore. But yeah, cool. Again, I think it's great that we have actual things of the time, and like I say, they don't have to have the same meaning today as they did for the people back then for them to be in the game as works of art and specific things, right? People back then believed in it, so therefore it is important. But anyway, prestige. It's a concept that has existed in many of our previous grand strategy games, and it's present in Project Caesar as well. Here, it's a value between 0 and 100 that will decay to 0 if nothing else increases it. Okay, so we're not getting negative prestige here. Where the decay is bigger, the higher the prestige is. Prestige in this game is heavily tied to the cultural part of the game, but also has an impact on diplomacy and trade. So England has a prestige here of 20.08, getting some cultural influence in there. The skill of new artists, the monthly. That's the effects. It affects their cultural influence. It affects the skill of new artists. Monthly aggressive expansion going down because of prestige. Nice diplomatic reputation, market attraction, and the great power score. Exempt from forfeit. What does this mean? Exempt from forfeit. Yeah. Interesting. And then the monthly change of 0.03 is down to the dissatisfaction, of the noble's estate from its dominions, its fiefdoms, and its works of art, and then it decays as well. If the nobles were just a little bit more happy, we'd get a little bit more prestige, for sure. And next week, we're going to be having a look at societal values. We saw a couple of them in this dev diary itself, from traditionalist and outward societal values. This is something that I believe comes from EU3, so it could be interesting to see how that works. But yeah, that is the lovely, the quite delightful dev diary on the culture war and art and all of that good stuff, and I like what I see here. This is something completely new to the EU franchise. I believe I didn't play EU3, so I don't know if it was in there, but certainly wasn't in EU4. And I do love that we're getting a little bit of history here. Like I say, when you hover over the Llewellyn's coronet, it will give you a paragraph about what the hell it was. So I think that's really, really cool. I think that is fantastic, and I hope you guys agree with that, because I like being in the majority on opinions. I have discovered that when I am in the minority on opinions, my comment section is full of I disagree with that. Culture group acceptance being the most recent, but whatever. Anyway, I like it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as well. And also, let me know what kind of pieces of art that you think should be in the game. I would be interested to know what pieces of art there are for your country as well. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel if you want to keep up to date with everything coming out of Project Caesar. And yeah, like the video, comments, all that good stuff. And I will see you on Friday for a map of the Southeast Asia, Indonesia area. That should be a good one. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.